It's tonight's cover story. Tracing one's heritage has become a phenomenon and a billion-dollar industry. Listen to this here. Ancestry Corporate is the world's largest consumer for DNA network. That network has more than 25 million people in it, which means it's managing a whopping 60 billion records online. People are now giving DNA kits as gifts to help their loved ones find connections, and the results can be life-changing. WBTV's Dedrick Russell found out that a simple DNA kit was the link that gave two friends a gift they will cherish for a lifetime. It's tonight's cover story.
It's a family tree connection that Cheryl Brayboy and Douglas Jones didn't have to go far to find.
So to learn this year that this guy who's been living across the street from me for me 16 years, I know he's lived there longer, is my cousin, is ridiculous.
These two have walked these streets so many times, not knowing they were family. Listen to their story. Cheryl did an ancestry kit about 10 years ago and checks for new results regularly.
I heard a voice say, make sure you check Ancestry tonight. Ancestry.com, the app, right? So I checked Ancestry and a voice said, wouldn't it be funny if you know one of your new cousins, one of your latest matches on Ancestry? So as soon as I heard that voice, probably just a voice in my head, but I started scrolling and there was the name, Doug Jones. And I was like, Doug Jones? Doug Jones lives across the street from me. This could not be that same Doug Jones. There's no way that this is Doug Jones.
Douglas got the same message.
I'm new to Ancestry, so I wasn't sure how reliable it was, so I didn't want to freak her out. Are we related? Right. So fortunately, like the next day, she sent the message, so we connected through the message.
Douglas did his ancestry kit just a few months ago, looking for connections. He's been digging into his family tree, especially on his mother's father's side. Not much information there.
It got me looking more and more and more at the history on his side. So I found some more relatives, but I have not found the connection per se.
But we have clues.
Yeah.
So one brilliant thing that Ancestry does is it gives you your matches and it tells you which side of the family the match emanates from. And so I know that Doug is my cousin on my mother's side.
While they are still in search of that exact connection, they are shocked at all the likenesses.
You remind me of my uncle. Like you look similar, he has similar mannerisms.
That's not all these cousins share.
So I work at Johnson C. Smith University. I taught here for 11 years. I'm now Director of Communications and Marketing. And this is your alma mater.
This is my alma mater, and I also taught here before I had children.
Right. We both have a doctorate.
Yeah, both the other doctors.
Yeah.
So that education was big in my family.
They hope these family pictures can help tell the story and reveal the connection. They say this discovery is special and serious for them because they know the intense and dark history of African Americans.
And these families that were torn apart on the plantation, sold off to a variety of different plantations, sold to different states, families torn apart. Now those families are coming back together. And that's why, like, I literally cried when I found out that Doug was my cousin, because number one, he's a really cool guy, he's a great guy.
Well, I think it's critical. One, we find out the rich heritage that we have. We find out the stories in our family, how people traveled. I just think the more you know about where you come from, the more you appreciate your heritage.
And that appreciation of one's heritage will hopefully trickle down to the next generation. The hope these cousins have is young people will continue to connect the dots and tell the stories of their families.
But I think one of the things about this generation is that they're a lot into authenticity, and they're also a lot into heritage. So not all of them. There's some that don't care about anything, and then there's some that are like, power to the people, let me figure out where I'm coming from.
I also think, students read stories in books, history books, and sometimes they're bored unless you have a really great teacher. I think this adds color to that, especially if it touches their own homes and they can see their parents and their grandparents as real human beings.
When our children can look at their history and see what was accomplished back in times that were considered rougher, hopefully it restores hope of what they can do. and gives them that belief of, I can do this too.
I can do anything.
If they could do this during those times, there's no reason why I can't accomplish whatever I want.
There's no limit.
In Charlotte, Dedrick Russell, WBTV, on your side tonight.
What a terrific story. It's like a treasure hunt, and then the treasure was